Thank you so much for clicking the thumbnail and being interested in my work. In this video, part 2, I share with you my techniques and tips on how I did the hat, the hair, and all the atmosphere of putting the snow in and the background. So be sure to watch it right through till the end, because here and there I'll be slowing things down in real time so you can take a closer look. So let's dive in and take a look. This is where we left it in part 1. In with the hat, I've just used a selection of greys from the Carbothello range. I'm just trying things out to start with. Use an extender on these pencils because they're getting a bit short, and really handy that tool is. The pencil extenders they're called. Now we're glazing over with these primary colours here to change up the greys when it's needed. Now with the hat, it's all about getting a pattern, excuse the pun, but there's always a pattern to things to actually create an easier way of doing it. So it's just finding that flow. I'm using the grey-white pencil from the Caran d'Ache, and I'm just laying these out now, just picking out areas that stand out more. So the lighter areas I'm putting down, and there's a different pattern to the rib, so it's a little sort of narrower, so you have to sort of feel what it feels like and put it in. What I did there was counted them all out first and then just go through doing smaller marks now for the rib, and it's just a case of just finding your way, finding the pattern, finding the movement of things, and it all sort of comes together. And just take your time, and it's really interesting when you're doing the underdrawing, because you're not interested in the colour or the value. All it is about getting things in the right place. So it's really nice just to relax and then just play about with these shapes, because that's all you got to think of it, is like having fun. And this is all preparing the way for when I put the rich colours on the top, which will become easier because I've done this. So it all helps, it all has its purpose, these stages. It's a selection of pencils I'll be using for the background. I'm just going to quickly run through this. Now, I started off with the 110, but then I used the Caran d'Ache Cobalt Blue there, light, just to put that in a little bit. I'm just playing about really, just got to have a go with it. It's underdrawing, just getting that preparation right. And what I will tend to do with this is do the rich colour along with this underdrawing, so I'll be starting putting the richer colours on now, just so I can get the right value when I do the hat then. So if I get this right in the background, then it gives me an idea then how much glow I need to do when I start doing the rich colours in the hat. Just using a Carbothello white just to mark out the hair. It just gives me an idea then of where, you know, the rich colours needs to go on, and it helps really to get this white on there, because then when you put the rich colours on top of this white, it becomes fresher. So it's just mapping the way and just making sure everything is in the right position. Now how I created that background was use a grey, a similar grey to what you're looking for, and then just subtle it up then with the primary colours. So you're using the grey to get sort of the value. So you're picking a grey which is similar value, and then just change it up with just adding a bit of blue or a bit of yellow or a bit of red. So it's got to be a proportion of those colours to create the correct colour, because everything is made up of the 3 primaries. So it's just a case of getting that grey in first and then just putting those colours over the top, and then it just seems to come together then. But it makes really rainbow effect, almost very, very subtle colour changes in that, and it really does make a difference. Here, because it's like a golden colour, I'm using burnt sienna and lemon yellow, mixing that together, which creating that sort of vibrancy I'm wanting. And you can subdue it by adding that grey, so you're getting a bit of both really, but using that burnt sienna and lemon yellow really does the trick when you've like got golden colours. Right, on with the hat. So doing the same sort of thing now with the rich colour stage, is using the grey and to freshen it up, because it's about getting the fresher colours in now and trying to sort of narrow down the actual pattern now, sort of make it more sort of interesting. So finding the pattern going across, so there's a stitching in between, so you have to look really what's happening and then just put a suggestion here and there, because it'll drive you nuts if you try and create every little stitch the same as what the reference image is. It's about your interpretation, and that's what makes it, you know, unique to you then, rather than trying to make it as carbon copy. And it's a case of just being patient, finding that pattern, and then just preparing. What I tend to do is just do one area and try and find my way, suss it out, and then once I've got an idea what needs to be done, then the rest of it becomes very easy. But it's worth spending a little bit of time just on one area. If you're enjoying this video, why not subscribe? It's absolutely free, then you're sure not to miss any of my future videos. Parts of the stitching is more vibrant than others, so I'm using the Faber-Castell white to freshen up some of the stitching, so it's little dots here and there, and just changing it up, because some are more subdued with the Carbothello white and some are more fresher, and then going in between them with a darker pencil, like a dark grey, and I'm just glazing over them with yellow, red and blue primaries, so you're changing it up very subtly, similar to what I did in the background, but you're doing it on the hat, and it creates really subtle harmonies of colours, and you can mix any colour than what you see on your screen. Using a Caran d'Ache like a lemon white there, and the 110 Carbothello white pencil, it's like a white grey. So the combination of those two to get this real fresh, vibrant light that's hitting on the side of the hat here. So it's really got to stand out and be vibrant. So that colour really combination is really great for the under painting of the rich colour. Then you'll be glazing over the top again, subtling it all up later on. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my patrons for their wonderful support every month. Can't thank you enough, it really means a lot to me. If you're considering joining me on Patreon and would like the benefit of longer, slower and more in-depth videos, please check out the link in the description below. Now this portrait will be on my Patreon early 2024. It'll be in 3 parts, all in real time, so you can see everything I'll do. It's a chance for you to get a really in-depth, deep dive look at how I create my portraits, because moment by moment I'm discussing how I'm feeling, the process, how I work things out, and with it being in real time, you get a lot more out of that experience. So be sure to check that out when it's available. It's a small amount each month, which gives you the access to every tutorial on there. So check out the link in the description below for more details. For the shadow side of the hat, so that's the bright side done, using again a grey, which is going to get a fresher feel to it, and then going over what I've already done with brighter lines, and here and there putting more of a brighter pencil. So I'm using the Faber-Castell, putting little dots here and there. I'm running through this quite quick because it's similar to what I've just explained. So you just a few dots, only suggestions, so it's your suggestion, your interpretation. So once you've got that pattern, it's a case of going in with little dark dots, little light dots, and then you're just glazing over them with the red, blue and yellow, and that will give you all the subtleties you need. There is a handy pencil from the Carbothello range. It's Payne's Grey, which is like a purpley grey colour, which is ideal for those little dark bits. Here's the colours I'll be using for the hair. I'm just following the same procedure as I normally do, just doing that underdrawing first, just mapping things out, getting everything in the right place. I'm filling in the white scarf as well while I'm at it there, just to get the sort of basic sort of structure together. And just glazing really with the yellow ochre and brown and white, just using that combination to keep it simple. Always try and keep it simple when I do the underdrawing, because it's not about getting the colours right or the value or the chroma, it's just about getting things in shape. So if you can keep it really simple. Same with the scarf here, I'm just using one grey and white just to basically get the sort of shape in there, and then later on when I put the rich colours on and everything, I'll get all those details in. If you're enjoying this video, why not give it a like and share it with your friends? It would mean so much to me, as this would help the channel to grow. Now the colours for the rich colour stage. The scarfing before I can actually judge the values of the hair and the chroma correctly, so putting them highlights in. I'm using a stick from Rembrandt Pure White here. Normally I use one which is like a white yellow, like a Chinese white, but this is pure white, and then just sort of putting it in areas where it's really vibrant, and then what I'll do is glaze over that with lemon yellow just to give it that sort of zinginess, and then just keep doing the same, just adding a little bit of blue sometimes and a bit of burnt sienna to create different greys. It's just a case of just playing with it really. Now for the rich colours of the hair, I'm using the flesh tint 5% and 10%. It's only like yellow ochre and white mixed with a little bit of red, which is perfect for what I'm looking for. So if you've got a colour that is similar in your kit, use that first, and then you can always change it up later. Now the rich colour stage is still a block in, but it's focusing on the value and the chroma as well as the temperature. I mean, you've done the hard work of getting the placement with the underdrawing. Now it's a case of putting that richer colour on. Now adding the details to the hair in this section here. So I'm just working on one area just to get a feel for what's needed for the rest of it. Similar to the hat really, that there's some areas that are brighter and fresher than others. So we just add in that pure white. So I'm using the Faber-Castell white, or Caran d'Ache white would do. But just put it in areas where it's fresher, and then just keep glazing over. So it's a case of just keep putting that white in, glaze over, white, glaze over, until it sort of becomes the right feel and everything. You have to keep looking in the mirror a lot just to make sure everything's okay. Now I like to be quite spontaneous when I'm doing these wisps of hair. I try and follow the reference image as close as I can, but I'm a bit spontaneous and sort of a bit cavalier with it really. Just go for it, feeling it and not thinking about it. Using like a Chinese white and a pure white from the Rembrandt range, just a mixture there to create that sort of freshness, and then just going around it then with a grey just to soften it up, and also to put that subtle value in there where the shadow is. Good idea to use the grey first just to get a reasonable value, and then just glaze over. Then I'm using yellow ochre, bit of blue, and then I'm going over with the white again now, mixing all that together and making small circles, making like a fluffy feel to it, and then glaze over with more of a chroma, lemon yellow with the cold red together, which creates like a zinginess with it. Now it's time again to revisit the hair here. Just putting that lemon yellow in to create that zinginess, because really vibrant sunshine on this side, so it's really interesting it was to achieve against the cold snow. And it's all about getting that white down and glazing over, but using that lemon yellow to create that chroma, and burnt sienna together creates a gold. So there's a combination of those two plus the brown for the shadows. Now this pencil from the Carbothello range is similar colour, so I've used that in this area, and then I'm using the edge of the pencil point to create those wisps and details of the hair. It's about just getting that angle right so you can keep turning your pencil and getting another edge, and it creates these fine lines. Surprising how it does that really, because it's very hard to get a point with the Caran d'Ache pencils. There's a video on my channel explaining how I do sharpen these Caran d'Ache pencils. I'll leave a link in the description below for you. When you're doing these sort of very free-flowing areas, just keep centered in your heart, focus on bringing the image into you and draw from there, rather than going tunnel vision, looking too much and thinking about it. Just be spontaneous and just let it happen. Once you understand colour, it becomes very easy and spontaneous. I have developed a free class for you. You're welcome to it. It's in the description below. All the details are there, Once I learnt this, it really changed everything. It made it so easy when you know how to mix colours and how to get the subtleties and vibrancies. So please check that out. It's free and it's there for you in the description below. Now back on the snow again now. So here for the mittens here, where she's holding the snow, I'm just using different greys and changing it up. You just got to try what you've got in your kit, because you know you can always change it up with the primers on the top of this when you do the details. See, this is a blocking stage. You're just getting that sort of value right and the chroma, so that's what you're working on here, and maybe the temperature, and then everything else will change with the details. Now I'm starting to fill in a little bits of the texture and the sort of pattern of the woolen mitts. And it's just feeling your way and just paint what you see, and then just change it up. Just get something close to what you want in, and then just change it up. That's the way to do it. Some areas are warmer, so I'm putting the lemon yellow and burnt sienna together to create a gold. And it's a fascinating portrait this is to do, because you've got cold and warm together, and it's very interesting to create. Now I'm adding the details over the top of the blocking stage, so it's quite fascinating when you start mixing these colours now over the top of the greys, because it gets very, very subtle, like I mentioned earlier. And it's the same sort of principles what you do with the hair or the hat or anything else, or even the skin tone. It's just a case of just feeling the temperature and changing it up. It's either got to be three colours into it. You've got red, blue and yellow. It's getting the proportion mixed right, and it's just a case of just changing it up until it becomes right. There's the colours again for the hair. I'm just going to block it in very, very quickly now. I'm doing this because I'm a bit conscious of the length of the video, and it's exactly what I've done on the other side, same procedure. So just blocking it in first, getting the white down in the background, just working on it all as a whole, and then working in those greys, and then going in with the colours, the primary colours, putting a bit more white on the top there. Just going through this really quickly, and just using my finger to blend, and just changing it up with the primary colours basically. And then now I'm starting to put in the snow, so little dots here and there to start with. Try and get a pattern, so I do big areas first and then fill in the middle. Seems to be the easiest way. And then going over with lighter pencils. I'm going over with the Faber-Castell now and brightening up some areas. There's the colours I'll be using to brighten that snow up in places and to make it glow. And putting some flesh tint here and there, 5% and 10%, just changing it up. You'll get a feel for what needs to sort of shine out more than others, and it's a case of putting a bit more white down first, either the Faber-Castell or the stick form here, to make it really fresh and bright, so when you do glaze over the top, that light shines through the colour and it gives it like a glistening, a feel to it, and that's what you're looking for when you're doing this snow here. So just dotting it here and there and just be spontaneous with it. And I'm going over a lot with the burnt sienna. I'm trying to create a goldy feel to it, so it's burnt sienna first, then go over with the yellow, and then it creates a gold, but that white shines through that pigment I put on, and that's what glistens. Hope you enjoyed part 2. Obviously part 1 is on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description below. I've really enjoyed this. It's really been interesting, the cold and warm temperatures. Now if there's any questions at all, please leave a message in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I really appreciate that because it really helps the channel to grow. But in the meantime, if you want to see more of my work, please check out this link here. Take care. Bye.